In today's video, we're going to be having a look at what's going on with Qantas and the Australian borders. We're also going to have a quick look at New Zealand, and as well, we're going to be looking at some of the controversies occurring in the White House. Hello, and welcome to another ACY Securities Market Update. My name is Alistair Schultz, and I'm going to be your host through today's trading journey. The first thing to take a quick look at is that Qantas has announced they will be cancelling flights all the way up until the end of October. Originally, they were planning on opening up flights again at the end of July, but due to state government saying that they are not going to be opening up the borders for international flights, Qantas has naturally had to follow suit with that. Now, there is still a possibility of a trans-Tasman bubble occurring and flights between New Zealand and Australia happening. However, the concern really lies in what's going on in New Zealand with the new COVID outbreak that they're having there, and of course, the COVID outbreaks here in Australia since the protests. So we'll have to keep an eye on that situation for the future, and hopefully it does mean that we do get some level of travelability there. Moving on from that, former National Security Advisor John Bolton has released a book. Now, last year in September, John Bolton resigned from the White House under some interesting circumstances, and he has made a book that has really looked at the entire presidency of Donald Trump all the way through. Now, this is kind of a contentious point because he has labelled it from his side and his views of what's going on, and the president is not real happy about that. One of the excerpts from the book, though, which has gone through public media and is standing out quite a bit and putting a bit of a challenge towards what Trump might be able to achieve during this year of elections. That quote is, "I am hard-pressed to identify any significant Trump decision during my White House tenure that wasn't driven by re-election calculations," indicating that Trump has basically taken an idea of it's all about his political agenda and not so much about the countries itself and what's going on. So it's a pretty bold claim to make, and the president has naturally rebuked it already, but unfortunately his rebuke has ended up being an attack on China because of some of the comments that have been made in that book. Now, he has in fact made legislation as of Wednesday that puts sanctions and revokes some visas of Chinese officials who may be involved with the oppression of some Muslim minorities. Now, whether this is going to be the case, it's really tit-for-tat behaviour, and we're not entirely sure on what the real situation is here. But when in this instance, you always just have to look at the facts. So please make up your own minds as you see fit. Now, the next one to have a look at here is what's going on in Germany. Germany has had some meat factories shut down in big mass. Now, the reason for this is being that they've had hundreds of infected workers occurring due to the fact that they're working shoulder to shoulder the whole way through during this process of the slaughterhouses. So now they have another outbreak in Germany as well, which is causing a little bit of concern for Europe as to whether or not it might travel even further. Every time we have something like this occur, it seems that we are going to have common problems. I always think of some holiday destinations to have that similar sort of relationship between the two that are going on. Right now, we've had a lockdown of our entire economies. There are some places where they can only open during the summer months, and during winter it's frozen over, so the economy gets frozen as well for that small area. But it's a bit like having a shark attack occur during those summer months. During the other periods of time, you expect to have that lockdown occur, and you're able to combat that and work out with it no problem. But then when it gets to the summer months, and all of a sudden that's when you're expecting all your business to come in, and you have a shark attack, all of a sudden you don't have these people and tourism coming in to invest in that economy. And so therefore, the unexpected occurrences cause more harm than what it is when you have a planned outcome. So what we're seeing now with COVID-19 is we had an unexpected occurrence, it did some damage, but now we're trying to get back on track. But unfortunately, these little outbreaks are occurring a little bit like the shark attacks. They're causing unexpected little areas where we're unable to have an economy actually running at full capacity. Now, moving on from that, New Zealand has its own problems as well, and it has entered a recession for the first time in a decade. The last time they were in it was in 2010, and this, unfortunately, is actually the worst contraction they have seen in 29 years. So, from there, we are expecting a 17% forecast for a contraction when it comes to this quarter, being the June quarter. Hopefully that's not the case, and it is a little bit overstated, but the chances are, considering they have had a lockdown that has extended beyond 7 weeks and was very hard on the economy, they may have some issues around that. At this time, we're seeing somewhere close to the $60 to $70 billion mark being allocated in stimulus for the New Zealand economy to try and help prop it up throughout all of this. Now, looking at the news ahead, We have Australian unemployment change figures and the unemployment rate coming out later today. We also have Swiss National Bank monetary policy statements occurring. From there, we have United Kingdom doing monetary policy and potentially a bank rate change. Though I think it is likely to be not actually going to happen this time round, purely because it's already enough turmoil in the UK right now, especially with some of the politics going on there. Now, the last one to have is that we have Canadian ADP non-farm payroll coming out today. So expect to have a look at what some of the employment figures might be around there. That's all I have for you today, but if you have liked anything from today's video or you'd like to get in contact with me, please feel free to shoot me an email at talktoal@acy.com. And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe to this video so you can get more great content from me and ACY Securities in the future. Have a great trading day ahead.